It was one of those winter evenings that seemed to wrap the world in a blanket of silence, broken only by the occasional howl of the wind. Alex Harper, a 35-year-old software engineer who had recently traded the chaos of city life for the quiet suburbs, was nestled in his armchair, a steaming mug of coffee in hand. The television flickered with the highlights of a basketball game. But his mind was elsewhere, drifting through the memories of a life that had felt increasingly empty. House he had bought 6 months ago was a modest 2-story colonial, with creaky wooden floors and a fireplace that he rarely used. It was meant to be a fresh start after his divorce 2 years prior. Sarah had left him, citing his workaholic tendencies and emotional distance. Since then, Alex had thrown himself into his job, but the loneliness had crept in like the cold seeping. Through the cracks in the windows, the wind picked up outside, rattling the panes. The weather app on his phone had warned of a blizzard approaching, with temperatures plummeting to single digits. He glanced at the clock, 9:45 p.m., and considered heading to bed early. That's when he heard it, a soft, insistent scratching at the front door, accompanied by a mournful cry that cut through the night. At first, he thought it was the wind playing tricks, but the sound persisted. Curious and a bit annoyed, Alex set down his mug and walked to the door. Peering through the peephole, he saw nothing but swirling snowflakes. The cry came again, lower this time, almost pleading. Opening the door a crack, a gust of icy air rushed in, carrying with it a small, shivering figure. There, on his porch, sat a cat. Her fur was a mix of white and gray stripes, matted with snow and dirt. Her green eyes locked onto his, wide with desperation. She let out another meow, this one louder, as if to say, "Please, let me in." Alex wasn't a cat person. He had grown up with dogs, loyal, boisterous golden retrievers that his family had adored. Cats, in his experience, were independent and aloof, but something about this one tugged at him. She looked so vulnerable, her paws tucked under her body. For warmth, her tail wrapped tightly around her. "Come on then," he muttered, opening the door wider. The cat didn't hesitate. She darted inside, brushing against his legs as she passed. Alex quickly shut the door, locking out the cold. The house felt warmer already, though he couldn't say why. The cat shook herself, sending droplets of melted snow flying onto the entryway. "Rug." She looked up at him, her expression a mix of gratitude and wariness. Alex knelt down, extending a hand slowly. "Hey there, buddy. You okay?" She sniffed his fingers, then backed away a step. Up close, he could see the toll the streets had taken on her. Her fur, though beautiful in its pattern, was tangled and dirty. A small scar ran across her left ear, and there were fresh scratches on her nose, marks of survival in a harsh world. As he watched, she began to cough, a dry, hacking sound that made his chest tighten. "Poor thing," he whispered. "You've been through hell, haven't you?" He stood and headed to the kitchen, rummaging through the fridge for something suitable. He warmed some milk in the microwave and poured it into a shallow bowl. Placing it on the floor, he stepped back, giving her space. The cat approached cautiously, her eyes never leaving his. She lapped at the milk hungrily, her small pink tongue darting in and out as she drank. Alex noticed something else. Tiny black specks moving in her fur. "Fleas." He grimaced. This was going to be more than a one-night stay. But for now, he was committed. "You can crash here tonight," he said aloud, more to himself than to her. "We'll figure out the rest in the morning." The cat finished the milk and looked up, purring. Softly for the first time, she rubbed against his ankle, a tentative gesture of trust. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him that had nothing to do with the heating system. Little did he know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would change his life forever. The next morning, Alex woke to the sound of soft padding. Feet. The cat had explored the house during the night, leaving paw prints on the kitchen counter and knocking over a stack of mail. He found her curled up on the guest room bed, her body rising and falling with steady breaths. "Good morning," he said, entering the room. She lifted her head, meowing in greeting. He had placed a makeshift litter box in the corner, an old cardboard box lined with newspaper, and was relieved to see she had used it. Alex's day job allowed him to work from home most days, so he set up his laptop in the living room, keeping an eye on his new guest. He named her temporarily Whiskers, though it didn't quite fit her elegant appearance. She followed him around the house, sniffing every corner, jumping onto windowsills to watch the snow fall. By afternoon, he decided to check for owners. He snapped a few photos and posted them on local Facebook groups and Nextdoor. Found this cat on my porch last night. Anyone missing her? The responses came in slowly sympathetic comments, suggestions to take her to a shelter, but no claims. His neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, a retired mechanic with a gruff demeanor, stopped by when he saw Alex shoveling the driveway. That cat? Seen her around the neighborhood for weeks. She's a stray, all right. Be careful. She might have kittens or something. They multiply fast. Alex laughed it off, but the words stuck with him. Was she pregnant? She did look a bit round in the middle, but he attributed it to being well-fed from begging. That evening, as the blizzard intensified, Whiskers became restless. She paced the room, meowing loudly, scratching at the door. Alex opened it, thinking she wanted out, but she hesitated, looking back at him with what seemed like conflict in her eyes. The wind howled, and snow piled up against the house. She darted out, only to return minutes later, wet and shivering, meowing even more desperately. This cycle repeated throughout the night. Alex barely slept, worried about her. "What are you looking for?" he asked, stroking her fur. She purred briefly, then resumed her pacing. It was as if she was torn between the safety inside and something calling her from the storm. Dawn broke with a white world outside. Alex, bleary-eyed, checked on Whiskers in the guest room. She was in the cat bed he had improvised from blankets, but she wasn't alone. 3 tiny, mewling bundles were nestled against her kittens, newborn and fragile. His heart skipped a beat. "Oh my God," he breathed. Joy quickly turned to panic as he realized they were cold, their bodies barely moving. The room was warm, but the birth had happened in the dead of night, and Whiskers looked exhausted, unable to nurse properly. One kitten, the smallest, a gray tabby, went limp as he picked it up. "No," Alex cried, his voice breaking. He remembered a video he'd seen once on pet CPR. Gently, he pressed on its chest, breathing tiny puffs into its nose. Minutes felt like hours, but finally, a weak mew escaped. Tears streamed down his face as he wrapped them all in towels, placing them near a heater. He rushed to the pet store, braving the snow, and bought kitten formula, bottles and supplies. Back home, he bottle-fed them every 2 hours, while Whiskers watched her eyes filled with what he swore was gratitude. But the drama wasn't over. As the sun rose higher, Whiskers bolted to the door again, meowing frantically. When Alex opened it, she dashed out and returned with a 4th kitten in her mouth, even smaller and weaker than the others. She had hidden it outside during the storm, risking everything to bring it to safety. "You amazing creature," Alex whispered, awestruck. The family was complete. Over the next days, Alex cared for the family. He took them to the vet, where the doctor confirmed Whiskers was undernourished, but recovering. Examining her fur, the vet found a hidden collar, faded and worn. The tag read Luna, with a phone number. "I know this," the vet said, frowning. "The owners relocated last month. They left her behind when they found out she was pregnant. Didn't want the hassle." Rage boiled in Alex. How could anyone abandon such a loyal animal? He tried calling the number, but it was disconnected. Online yielded no results. Meanwhile, his ex-wife Sarah called, hearing about the cats through mutual friends. "You're turning into a cat lady now?" she teased, but there was warmth in her voice. Their conversation turned serious, rekindling old feelings. Perhaps this was a sign for Alex to open up more. The kittens grew stronger, playing with toys Alex bought. His own dog from childhood memories inspired him to introduce them to gentle play. Mr. Jenkins, initially skeptical, softened, and even brought over cat food. Not everything was smooth. The fleas required treatment, and one kitten developed an infection requiring antibiotics. Whiskers, now renamed Luna, became protective, hissing at strangers. Alex's work suffered as he juggled feedings and calls. A subplot emerged with a local animal control officer, prompted by a complaint from another neighbor. "Strays are a nuisance," the officer said. Alex fought back, gathering petitions from supporters, turning it into a community effort. Through it all, bonds formed. Luna slept on his bed, purring. The kittens tumbled around, bringing laughter. Sarah visited, helping with care, and their relationship hinted at reconciliation. Months passed. The kittens were weaned, spayed, neutered, and Alex decided to keep them all. His house, once empty, echoed with life. Luna became his shadow, a reminder that kindness returns tenfold. One evening, as snow fell again, Alex sat by the fire with Luna on his lap. "You found me when I needed it most," he said. The family was complete, a testament to second chances. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.